In this course, we will use the program R to assist us with calculations. You can just use R to calculate things. If you were to enter, for example, 1 plus 4, you would get the answer. However, you can also assign numbers to variables. You can, for example, indicate that x has a value of 5. And if we would subsequently ask what the value of x is, then 5 would appear. We can also calculate with variables. We can enter x plus 1, and that, of course, results in 6, because x still equals 5. We can also assign several numbers to x instead of one number. For example, a series of numbers. 3, 5, 8, 3 again, and 9. And then x gets the value of the individual numbers. Even at this moment, we can still calculate with x. We can still enter x plus 1, and that will give us individual results for each individual number that x stands for. We can also multiply x by using the asterisk. For example, we can enter x times 2, and the value of x still equals the values we assign to x. We can also divide x using the slash sign, and pretty much all operators just work the way they normally would, but in this case with separate numbers that we've assigned to x. Just a few things also from the cheat sheet. A square root is defined as SQRT, so if we want to know the square root of x, we would calculate it like this, and x still contains several numbers, as you can see. And if we want to calculate the square, we use the caret symbol, and then we enter that where we just did it before, x to the power of 2, and all the numbers will be squared. R also contains a number of useful functions. For example, a function to find out the mean of a variable. This function is called mean. The mean of x is 5.6. We can also easily find out the length of a variable. In other words, how many elements x actually contains. And in this case, the answer would be 5. Another useful function to use is the sum function, which adds up all the values, in this case 28. The function var calculates the variance of our variable x. And of course you also have the standard deviation, SD. It's also possible to save the result of a calculation in a new variable. For example, we can create the variable x squared. And we would then assign the value x to the power of 2 to that variable. And so this calculation will then result in a variable with all of the x's squared. By scrolling a bit further in the cheat sheet, we can display this clearly using the cbind function. And this provides us with a clear overview. So what we do here, cbind x and x squared, and that will give us this overview. And we can also enter that, for example, we would want the standard deviation of x to be included as a column, and then we will see the standard deviation right away as well. This column has no name. If you want a name, you have to assign a name to that column. For example, stdev, which stands for standard deviation. And with these basic things, we can easily calculate more difficult formulas because we can quickly get the basic operators available. More on this later in the course.